Let's talk La La Land. Why hello there, everyone. Oh god, that was the most awkward entrance I ever made. But let's just run with that. Hi, let's do this. Today I want to talk about La La Land. La La Land, La La Land, which I'm sure all of you have by now seen. If you have not, then you should probably just go watch it right now and then come back and watch this video. Because I'm gonna spoil literally everything, every little detail in the whole movie. I'm just gonna spoil it because I want to talk about this movie so bad. It was an experience. Yeah, so I went to watch it 2 weeks ago with some friends of mine because a really good friend of mine whom I really trust with film advice said that it was really good and really worth watching and that he wanted to watch it for a second time. So I thought, let's do this, let's give this a shot. And afterwards I went home to my mum and said, oh my gosh, mum, I have to watch this movie again. And I nagged her for so long that yesterday she decided to go into the cinema with me to see La La Land again, because this movie was so great. And I've only had this experience for 2 times in my life, one being Grand Budapest Hotel and the other being La La Land, that a movie, watching it the second time round, is being better than the first time round. Like, that is, oh my gosh, how can movies do that? I just can't shut up about this movie. I've listened to the soundtrack literally every single day since I saw this movie first. Literally every single day. And I know it by heart, and I sat in the cinema and my mum was like, okay, what's this about? And I was like, it's another day of sun, and just went berserks because this movie is so great. I'm really rambling. Because I'm so excited about this film and because I love it so much, I've written a list of things that I love about it. There's an objective part and a subjective part. So the objective part being basically things that you can measure. I'm definitely not a film expert, but I really love analysing film. So that's what I'm gonna try to do in the objective part. And then I also have written down some subjective things about why I love this movie so much and why this movie just spoke to me so much. Let's start with the objective things. Yay! Objective thing number 1 being how well the scenery and the colours just are crafted and how well they go together. I feel, or I think at least, that La La Land, especially the scenery and the colours, they give off a certain kind of vibe or feeling. And I've never been to LA, but I think that if I ever go to LA, it will be like in La La Land. It will feel like it feels to be in La La Land, because there are a lot of primary colours and a lot of distinct colour schemes that I noticed, especially the green and orange in Mia's and Sebastian's apartment, which is just so hard to pull off in a movie, and they just do it so great. And also the like red and blue or pink and blue kind of neon scheme that is a lot around in the like night LA. These primary and very saturated colours just give off a very really sort of happy and nice feeling and a very summery feeling as well. And as you see in La La Land, it goes from winter to the next winter. It's just always sunny. It's always sunny, and I think that is what kind of makes LA, and I think that the film just captured the city very well and the feeling of buzzing around and the feeling of excitement that is in LA because of Hollywood and because of the showbiz that is going on and that La La Land is set in, and that is what they make really great with the colours and the scenery, and also how the colours support the actors and the figures, kind of, especially in the like honeymoon phase of Mia and Sebastian. I just absolutely love how she and he also, but more it's more Mia, is wearing very pastely and bright colours and just very rosy, and it kind of enhances their feeling of, oh, I'm really in love. Whereas later on, when they have their like huge fight in where they have dinner and there's this huge fight scene, they both wear black or sort of dark colours, so it's very different from where it was before. I love just how much they enhance the story, because that is what costumes should do. A costume should craft the character, and I think that is really well done in La La Land. Secondly, the camera. The camera is done by someone called Linus. I have no idea what his last name is, but I'm gonna look that up as well. And this was just so well done. I've written down 2 special scenes, and one is where Mia and Sebastian go to the cinema together. It's just such a great, it's so lovely, that scene. And they just sit there and watch the movie, and they just go and lay their hands on their knees, and their hands start to touch, and it's very cute. And I noticed how long these shots, I think there are 3 or 4 even insert shots of their hands just slowly creeping near to each other, and it's very close up to the hands, and the camera holds there for very long. And I think that is so great because it enhances really their feeling of, oh, that is a bit awkward. It doesn't have to say anything because the slow touching of their hands just says everything about their unfolding relationship, and I just absolutely love it. And the same goes for the vinyl that is playing when they have dinner together, and a big fighting scene, sort of, because when they fight and Seb says to Mia, maybe you just like me because you could feel better, and she just goes absolutely silent, and you know that shit just got real. The camera holds on the like scratching vinyl that has just run through, and I think that is a really great metaphor for what has happened. Their vinyl, or their time's kind of run out. They're just silent because Seb's just said something to Mia that you can't answer anything to that, what he's just said, and they both know it, that this argument is over and that he's said something really, really hurtful. And the moment that he says it, I think Ryan Gosling played this so well. He just instantly regrets it, because she looks at him and he just goes, oh shit, I shouldn't have said that. I think the vinyl that is just kind of gone off is a really great metaphor for that. And with the little dialogue in La La Land, it was so well written. The dialogue was so sharp and on point and just exactly what it needed to be. And I have one scene that I especially liked in the German dub. I can't quite remember whether it was in English the same, but the scene where Mia and her boyfriend, I think he's called Greg? I think he's called Greg. So Mia and Greg go out to eat with Greg's brother, and you can kind of, you know that Greg doesn't really suit Mia from his personality. And yeah, they go to this restaurant with Greg's brother and his wife, I believe. And in the German dub, they talk about cinema and how it's becoming grubbier and kind of dirty, and people are on their phones always. And in that exact moment where the brother of Greg says, yeah, people are on their phones all the time, and it's so annoying when you watch a movie, which it is. I give him that point. It really is annoying if people go on their phones doing a movie. But in that exact moment his phone rings and he answers it. Especially the look on Mia's face when he is phoning his, I think, Chinese businessman or something. It's just absolutely gorgeous, and it just tells you everything about how much she resents this character and how much she wants to be in the grubby, dirty cinema with Sebastian, because Sebastian is so much better. It's just, oh, it's so good. It's so good. Finally, the best thing objectively about La La Land is that in a good movie, I think Nerdwriter was who said this, in a good movie everything points to everything, and this theory is just so well done in La La Land. Let me just give you some examples. I think the planetarium. Exact scene where James Dean drives with his car to the planetarium is the scene that me and Sebastian watch in the cinema before the movie like burns out or something. And this exact scene is just staged exactly the same when Mia and Seb go to the planetarium, and oh, that's lovely. Secondly, the stool. The stool that the sister sits on in the first part where we get introduced to Seb. It could have been just, okay, that guy loves jazz and that guy loves that stool because some jazz legend sat on it, and it could have just gone like that. It could have just said, okay, that's a good prop. We got to know a character trait of Seb, and it could have just vanished in any passable movie. But no, when we enter Seb's at the end, by the end of the movie, we see that exact same stool. We see the camera literally focusing on that same stool, saying, look at that, look at what became of that stool that his sister so unfamously sat on. The same thing goes for the ending scene, where Mia just imagines how it would have been if she wouldn't have broken up with Seb and everything would have worked out just fine. And especially the ending where they go into the jazz club that she went to the jazz club before, it just kind of feels like the journey has come to an end because they come to the same place, but it's two different realities, one that Mia is imagining and one that is actually real, and that is just so great. And oh, there's also the poster in Mia's room at the beginning of the video, which I think shows Gene Kelly. I'm not quite sure, but I think it was Gene Kelly. And it is established that Mia loves film because it shows definitely a film legend, and then when she is planning her own her own play, we see it torn down, so it's established and then re-established, and we often have in films this three-way payoff, so it's established, re-established and then broken. And this is made great with this poster, so it's established in Mia's room, then it's re-established when it's torn down because Mia is moving on from her naive dreaming of just becoming an actress and actually doing something that she loves, and then finally is broken when Seb is walking into his own club and he's walking past a poster that has Mia's face in the same kind of angle and same kind of just really huge frame that is just hanging on the wall. And then there's also the library. Oh, the library is probably the best one of all, because she tells them in the beginning when they first fall in love that that she lived next to this library, or I think opposite of this library, and it's just never, it's just a thing that she tells them, and in any normal film it could have just been that, and that would have been the end, because it's a really nice story about her aunt and stuff like that. It could have just been, my aunt was really cool, the end. Mia's character trait explained. But then it's paid off by Sebastian literally saying the house opposite of the library, and that is just so great because there are no loose ends in this movie. Everything just ties together so nicely from the story, and oh my gosh, it's just absolutely great. And I think that is what is so great about this movie. Everything in this movie just ties together really nicely. It just comes together really organically, I would say, and I think that is what really makes La La Land stand out. Because a lot of movies nowadays don't explain enough or don't have that payoff at the end and have loose ends that are just never mentioned again. So yeah, that was the objective part of the La La Land video, which probably was long enough. So I'm now gonna come to the subjective part of this video. My love for La La Land. It's just so great. So the subjective part has to do a lot with the themes that are explored in this movie. And the first thing is the love in this movie of Mia and Sebastian. It just feels so real and raw and kind of organic. It just feels really natural how they fall in love, and they've got all the phases right, like the honeymoon phase, and then the phase that you just feel really comfortable with each other and try to support each other in every way, and then the phase that you kind of understand that you also have to give up things for the other, and it's so good. It's so good. This also is because of Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone being such great actors on their own, and then together I think they're just meant to be on screen together, because Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone are literally my film OTP. Like they just work together so well as a pair, as a love romantic-y pair thing, ship. I ship me and Sebastian so hard. It's unbelievable. And love is just portrayed in a very romantic and a very sort of optimistic look on life, and I really like that. I absolutely love it when films make me feel a lot, and this film just made me, especially the ending, it just made me feel happy and sad and laughing and crying at the same time, and it was absolutely fantastic. Yeah, and then there's the fact of world building, and especially musical world building. So you have some really, really main themes of the movie. There's Mia's and Sebastian's theme, which is repeated several times. Then there's also the What a Waste of a Lovely Night theme, in my opinion, one of the best songs of the whole movie. And then you also have the Another Day of Sun and the City of Stars, obviously, theme. And they are just, especially in the second time watching it, I really paid attention to when they are repeated just as background music, and they just make the world building so much better. If you have seen La La Land and you want to go watch it again, then really go and pay attention to the themes and how they are repeated and altered and nuanced throughout the movie, because this is a really great example of movie and music world building. And my last point is the theme of The Fools Who Dream. This is Mia's audition song when she auditions to the role for The Actress in Paris, I guess. The role that she actually gets afterwards. It's just so... The Fools Who Dream is, I think, not the best songs of all in this movie, but it's definitely the one that spoke to me the most. Especially the part where Mia just goes, "She told me a bit of manners is key," and then who knows where it will lead us, and that's why they need us. I just cried so hard when I heard this. I just cry so hard whenever I listen to that song, because that is exactly what it feels like, trying to be an artist